I was watching the trailer for this thing last night, and I had this visceral physical reaction.
Oh, yeah.
It was like my brain just short-circuited between, I don't know, 1991 and 2026.
I know exactly what you mean.
You see the tennis ball cannon, right?
The cannon, of course.
That iconic high-velocity weapon of minor destruction, and for a split second, I'm back on my parents' shag carpet, drinking a high C, watching a guy named Nitro blow-dry his hair.
And all is right with the world.
Exactly. But then the camera pans out, and the lighting is different. The resolution is 4K. The crowd is absolutely massive. And I realize, oh, this isn't a rerun.
The circus is back in town.
The circus is actually back in town.
It is definitely back. But I think you'll agree it's not the same circuit.
Yeah, not at all.
The tent is bigger. The tickets are way more expensive. And the clowns. Well, the clowns are now multi-million-dollar brands with equity stakes.
That's what we have to get into today. Because American Gladiators is back. It's January 2026. It's on Amazon Prime Video. But if you go into this thinking it's just a nostalgia trip, you are missing the entire point.
The nostalgia is the hook, but it's not the story.
Right. I've been reading through the stack of research we have for this deep dive, and honestly, the show itself is almost the least interesting part.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but I know what you mean. The show is a symptom.
A symptom of what?
It's a mirror reflecting some massive shifts in entertainment and fitness and how people build careers.
Right. Okay, so we're looking at this reboot as a collision. It's a car crash between the streaming wars, the absolutely cutthroat politics of professional wrestling, and this booming creator economy of fitness influencers. It's wild.
It's a fascinating case study. And we have a lot to get through. We've got production notes from Entertainment Weekly and Variety, which give us, the scale of this thing.
Okay.
And then we have the dirt, and I mean the real dirt, from wrestling insiders like PW Mania and the Wrestling Observer.
Which is my favorite part of this whole story, by the way, the backstage drama.
It's spicy. And then we have the Shape Magazine 2026 Fitness Awards, which helps us understand the physical culture these people are operating in.
Right. What does fit even mean in 2026?
Exactly. And finally, some really dense but important analysis from the influencer and athletes' times about the business model behind the muscles.
So the mission here is pretty simple. We are going to figure out how a show that was basically genetic freaks beating up accountants in 1989 has been re-engineered for a global audience in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about the Avengers-style casting, the weird tension between the wrestling companies, and how fitness isn't about pumping iron anymore. It's about content creation.
So where do we start? Let's start with the platform, because the medium is the message, right?
Right. Amazon Prime Video, this isn't syndication. This isn't, waking up at 11 a.m. on a Saturday to catch it on Channel 5.
No. This is a massive, coordinated global rollout.
Right.
We were talking about availability in over 240 countries and territories.
Wow.
Think about the logistics of that. Amazon isn't treating this like a niche game show. They are treating it like The Rings of Power or The Boys. It's a flagship property.
And when you have a flagship property, you can't just hire a local sports broadcaster to host it. You need a star.
You need an anchor.
And they went with Mike the Miz Mizanin. Now, I have to ask, does this work for you? Because the Miz he's a lot.
He is a lot. But I think he's actually the perfect laboratory-created specimen for this specific job. Think about his resume. Where did he start?
The Real World, MTV. Back when reality TV was, allegedly real people.
Exactly. He is a child of reality TV. He understands how to manufacture drama, how to play to the camera, how to be a character. He gets that world instinctively.
Okay.
But then he spends the next 2 decades becoming a WWE Grand Slam champion. So he understands the athletics, the bumps, the physical storytelling of a fight.
I see what you're saying.
American Gladiators sits at the exact intersection of those two worlds. It is reality TV meets sports entertainment. The Miz is the bridge.
That makes sense. He's the hype man. He's not there to give you a deep play-by-play analysis of a tackle.
No.
He's there to make you feel like that tackle was the most important thing that happened on Earth today.
Precisely. And he's good at it.
Wow.
He knows how to work a microphone better than almost anyone.
So who's with him? Is he a one-man show?
No, they built a full team. He's joined by Roxy Diaz, you might remember her from 106 and Parkas, handling the sideline reporting, getting those breathless post-event interviews.
Okay, yeah.
And Chris Rose on play-by-play. Rose is a pro. He's done NFL Game Day Final. He's done BattleBots.
BattleBots is the perfect resume builder for this.
It really is. He knows how to call simulated combat without making it sound ridiculous. He brings a certain legitimacy to it.
But here's the thing that threw me for a loop. I'm reading the production notes from Variety, and I see the location, and I had to double-check it.
Oh yeah, this part's interesting.
Because in my head, American Gladiators is filmed in the Universal Studios lot. Or maybe the Las Vegas Hilton. It smells like popcorn and stale beer and, America.
Sure, that's the brand.
But for this 2026 reboot, they filmed the entire series in France?
It's Suchi, France,
Yeah.
at a venue called the R and Ice. It's a massive ice rink and event center near Paris.
Why? I mean, really, why? It's American Gladiators. Why go to Europe?
It's that global strategy we talked about. Remember, the BBC reboot of Gladiators recently was a huge hit in the UK.
Right.
Amazon is looking at this as a global format. By filming at a central European hub, they could potentially use that same set, the same infrastructure, for other international versions later.
So it's a cost-saving measure.
It's economies of scale. Plus, the production values in Europe for this kind of arena spectacle are incredible right now. They know how to put on a big show.
Okay, so it's a logistical play.
It is. But it also changes the vibe. They filmed in front of a live audience of about 3,000 people.
And a European crowd is different?
European crowds have a different energy. They chant differently. They react differently. It's less studio audience applause sign and more soccer match.
That's a good point. It probably makes it feel less staged. But it's still funny to me. You have The Miz, the most American loudmouth in history, standing in France, welcoming viewers to American Gladiators.
It creates a unique aesthetic. It feels bigger. It feels like an international sporting event rather than a domestic game show. It elevates it.
Okay, so we have the venue, we have the host, but let's be honest, nobody watches American Gladiators for the host or the lighting.
No, you're there for the spectacle.
We watch it for the monsters and spandex, the gladiators.
The talent.
And this is where the casting strategy gets really, really interesting. In the original series, it felt like they just went to Gold's Gym in Venice Beach and asked, who here can bench press a Buick? And they just hired the first 10 people who raised their hands.
Pretty much. It was bodybuilders, stunt people, maybe a failed linebacker or two. There wasn't a ton of rhyme or reason to it.
But this roster, it feels curated. It feels like they used an algorithm.
It's the Avengers approach. You don't just want one type of person. You want to capture every corner of the fitness world. So you have your CrossFit champions, the functional fitness people. You have your elite fitness influencers, the aesthetic people. And then, surprisingly, you have a massive injection of professional wrestlers.
And this is where we need to slow down and really look at the dynamics, because to the average viewer, a wrestler is a wrestler. But if you follow the industry, you know that this casting list is practically illegal.
You're talking about the forbidden door.
Exactly. Explain this to someone who hasn't watched wrestling since the Stone Cold Steve Austin era. Why is this mix of people such a big deal?
Okay, so in the U.S., there are two major wrestling promotions. You have WWE, the giant, the Disney of wrestling. It's the one everyone knows.
Right, the billion-dollar company.
And you have AEW, All Elite Wrestling, the upstart competitor. They are at war.
A legitimate war.
A television war. They fight for viewers. They fight for talent. They fight for advertising dollars. They generally do not acknowledge each other's existence.
It's Coke versus Pepsi.
It's deeper than that. It's Marvel versus DC. You don't see Batman showing up in an Avengers movie.
Never.
It just doesn't happen. The IP is too protected. The brands are too separate.
Yet, here we are on Amazon Prime, and looking at the roster. We have WWE superstars and AEW stars literally on the same team.
It's unprecedented. About a third of the on-camera talent are pro wrestlers. From WWE, obviously, you have The Miz hosting, but you also have Eric Bugenhagen, who wrestling fans know as Rick Boogs.
I love Rick Boogs. He's the guy who plays the guitar and screams, right? High energy.
Incredible energy. Very charismatic. He represents the WWE style entertainment first, spectacle first.
Okay.
But then look at the other side. You have Michael Wardlow from AEW.
Wardlow. He's a monster.
Wardlow is a different animal. He's a powerhouse. He's menacing. He's all business. And you have Kaylee Latimer, known in AEW as Camille.
Camille is terrifying. I mean that as a compliment. She looks like she was carved out of marble.
She's a powerhouse female wrestler, a champion. And then you even have Jesse Godder's Mr. Pectacular from TNA in the indie scene. So you have 3 or 4 rival companies represented in one locker room.
And according to the reports we have from PW Mania and the Wrestling Observer, this was not exactly a harmonious we are the world situation backstage.
No, not at all. The reports are fascinating. They cite significant tension and issues from one side, regarding the interpromotional mix.
You choose from one side. That sounds pointed.
It's wrestling journalism code. You can probably guess which side. The phrase walking on eggshells was used to describe the atmosphere during filming in France.
Walking on eggshells. Imagine that. You're in spandex, you're about to go hit someone with a giant cotton swab, but you're worried about corporate politics. What exactly are they worried about?
Think about the branding. If you are a WWE executive, you have spent millions of dollars building Rick Boogs as a superstar, as this larger-than-life character.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes out there in an event and gets absolutely smoked by Wardlow, the AEW guy, that looks bad. It makes your brand look weaker than the competition.
Ah, I see. It's a proxy war.
Exactly. Every single event becomes a battle for brand supremacy. And for the talent themselves, it's tricky.
How so?
If The Miz, who's a WWE loyalist through and through, has to interview Camille after she just dominated an event, how does he handle it? Does he put her over, make her sound like a huge star?
Which would be giving credit to the competition.
Or does he try to minimize her victory? There is so much ego and corporate loyalty involved that every interaction is loaded.
It adds this whole other layer of subtext to the show. You aren't just watching Gladiator versus Contender. You're watching WWE versus AEW playing out in a jousting match.
And honestly, the producers probably didn't anticipate how deep that tension would run.
You don't think they did it on purpose? For the drama?
I think they just thought, hey, let's get the big, strong people from TV. They didn't realize they were inviting the Montagues and Capulets to the same dinner party.
I wonder if that tension actually makes the show better, though. Like, if you legitimately dislike the person standing next to, or at least the company they work for, you're going to compete harder.
It certainly raises the stakes. You can't be the one who looks weak. Not when your boss back in Stamford or Jacksonville is watching. There's a lot of pressure there.
But the wrestlers are only one slice of the pie. We also have the influencers. And this, to me, is where the show really reflects 2026.
Mm-hmm. The casting directors specifically looked for fitness influencers and people with show-stealing spectacle. This is a huge shift from the 90s.
In the 90s, the Gladiators were largely anonymous until the show made them stars.
Right.
Nitro was just Eric Nees before the show.
Exactly. The show was the star-making vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're hiring people who already bring their own audience with them.
Right. Take Danny Spiegel. She's a massive star in the CrossFit world.
Huge. She's competed in the CrossFit Games multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
She won the Titan Games. She has millions of followers.
So she walks in the door with her own fan base.
Her own fan base, her own brand, her own sponsors. Or look at Donnie Means, an IFBB pro bodybuilder. Emily Nelson, a former NCAA athlete. These people aren't just athletes, they are media companies.
And we have this report from Influencer and Athletes Times that really breaks down the business model here. Because I think a lot of people assume these influencers are just doing the show for the appearance fee. Oh, Amazon is paying me $50,000. Cool.
And that is the wrong way to look at it. The appearance fee is peanuts compared to the back end.
Okay, break this down.
The Influencer and Athletes Times talks about the creator economy context. These gladiators are digital entrepreneurs. They aren't thinking about the salary from the show. They're thinking about customer acquisition.
Explain the Macroactive platform mentioned in the source. How does that fit in?
So Macroactive is one of these white label platforms used by top creators.
Yeah.
The report mentions Ulysses Jr., who apparently made $2 million in program sales.
$2 million.
Off his own programs. So the model isn't get paid to be on TV. The model is use TV to drive traffic to your ecosystem.
Okay, walk me through that. I'm a viewer. I'm watching Amazon Prime. I see a gladiator, let's say Donnie Spiegel, doing something incredible on the wall. What happens next?
You pick up your phone, you search for her on Instagram or TikTok, you follow her, and right there in her bio is a link. And that link doesn't take you to a fan club. It takes you to a sales page.
And what are they selling?
Usually it's the downsell. This is a key strategy mentioned in the report. High-ticket coaching like one-on-one personal training for $2,000 a month is great, but it's hard to scale. You only have so many hours in a day.
Right, you can't train 1,000 people one-on-one.
So they sell a low-ticket subscription. Get my Gladiator workout program for $19 a month. Get my meal plan for $29 a month.
$19 isn't a lot.
No, but if American Gladiators gets 10 million viewers globally, and just 1% of them buy that $19 subscription.
Oh my God.
Do the math. You are talking about millions of dollars in recurring revenue every single month.
So the show is basically a giant global high-production commercial for their apps.
Exactly. That is the top-of-funnel marketing strategy. The Gladiator isn't just trying to win the event. They're trying to look cool enough, aspirational enough, that you want to be them. They are performing for conversion rates.
That feels cynical, or is it just smart?
It's sophisticated. The report talks about the danger of rented land.
Rented land, what does that mean?
Social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You don't own those platforms, Mark Zuckerberg does. If the algorithm changes tomorrow or if you get banned for some reason, your business disappears overnight.
All your followers gone.
Gone. The smart gladiators, the ones on this show, are using the exposure to move people off of social media and onto their own white label platforms where they own the data. They own the email list. They own the customer relationship.
It's amazing how much business strategy is hiding behind the spandex. It's like, I'm going to hit you with this pugil stick, but first, let me optimize my customer acquisition cost.
It's the reality of 2026. And it brings up the Gary Vee influence mentioned in the research. The hustle culture. Document, don't create.
Right. The 90s gladiators were mysterious. You didn't know what they ate for breakfast. You didn't know if they had kids. They were like superheroes. They just appeared in costume.
They were characters on a TV show.
Now, the modern gladiator is live streaming their breakfast. They are documenting their recovery process. They are showing you their failures, their bad workouts.
The source talks about using live streams to manufacture trusted content. It's a performance of authenticity.
A performance of authenticity. That's a great phrase.
If I see a gladiator sweating, struggling, being real on a live stream, I trust them. And if I trust them, I buy their supplements. I buy their program.
It builds a parasocial relationship. I feel like I know them.
Exactly. Which is great for sales, but I wonder what it does to the mystique of the show. Can you really be a larger-than-life gladiator if I just watched you complain about traffic on your Instagram story?
That's the tension, isn't it? Accessibility versus awe. In 1990, we were in awe because they were distant. Now we are engaged because they're close.
It changes the dynamic completely.
But it's not just the gladiators who have evolved. The contenders, the average Joes trying to survive the gauntlet, they aren't the same either.
No. The days of the weekend warrior who just, drinks beer and plays softball are gone.
We looked at the Shape Fitness Awards 2026 to get a sense of what the average fitness enthusiast is into these days. And let me tell you, looking at this list, I feel very inadequate.
It's a very high-tech list. What stood out to you?
The biggest trend seems to be recovery is king.
That is a massive shift. 10, 20 years ago, fitness marketing was all about go hard, no pain, no gain, destroy weakness. It was all about the workout itself.
And now?
Now, it's about longevity, it's about repair, it's about what you do in the other 23 hours of the day.
The awards highlight things like vibration plates, specifically the Merak whole body vibration plate, and EMS toning shorts from a company called Medulin.
EMS is electrical muscle stimulation. It uses electrical impulses to contract your muscles. It's technology that used to be reserved for physical therapy or elite Olympic-level athletes.
And now you can buy it on Amazon.
Now you can buy it on Amazon. The modern contender is likely using this stuff to prepare.
And the supplements. It's not just sketchy weight gain powder in a giant plastic tub anymore.
No, it's incredibly nuanced. Shape highlights magnesium L-threonate for sleep support.
Okay, for sleep, not for muscle.
For sleep, because sleep is when you recover and build muscle. They highlight electrolytes with collagen for hydration and joint health, probiotics for gut health.
So the contender showing up to Sergi, France to run the Eliminator, they aren't just hoping for the best. They are probably tracking their sleep cycles, they've optimized their gut microbiome, and they are vibrating their muscles for maximum activation.
They're biohackers. Even the amateur athletes are data-driven now.
There's also the trend of smart strength. The Tonal 2 won an award.
Right, the smart home gym. It uses digital weight. It's a huge screen on your wall. It tracks every rep. It knows exactly how strong you are and adjusts the weight in real time.
So there's no guesswork.
No guesswork. The buzzword here is progressive overload, building strength systematically and safely. The machine tells you when to go up in weight.
So the accountant from Des Moines isn't just guessing how much he can lift. He has a dashboard that tells him exactly how strong he is.
Which means the contenders are going to be more formidable. The gap between the pro gladiator and the amateur contender is shrinking because the access to elite training technology has been democratized.
I also love the concept of movement snacks.
Yes.
It sounds delicious, but it's actually just walking.
It's the idea of breaking exercise into small chunks throughout the day, using under-disc treadmills like the walking pad.
Right.
It reflects a cultural shift toward inclusivity. Fitness isn't just for the gym rat anymore. It's for the office worker. It's for everyone. It's about being less sedentary.
But practically speaking, for the show, this means you have contenders who might have incredible stamina.
Exactly.
If you walk 15 miles a week at your standing desk, you have a base level of fitness that the 1990s couch potato just didn't have.
Exactly. They might not be as big as the Gladiators, but they might be able to outlast them on the Travelator.
Okay, we've set the stage, we have the tensions, the tech, the business models. Now let's talk about the violence, the games.
The fun part. Amazon is leaning hard into nostalgia here. They brought back the heavy hitters.
You have to. You can't call it American Gladiators without the gauntlet.
The gauntlet is pure nightmare fuel. Running down a narrow hallway while 4 massive people try to ram you into a wall with foam pads. It's primal.
It works because it's simple. It's just get from point A to point B without dying. It's a test of courage as much as speed.
And hang tough, the rings.
A classic test of grip strength and speed, and the visual of the gladiator swinging their legs to wrap around the contender and rip them down. It's iconic.
Powerball joust, the wall, Atmosphere, the giant hamster balls are back.
I love the atmosphere. It's the only sport where you can get run over by a sphere of steel, and it's considered good defense. It's so ridiculous and so great.
And obviously, the Eliminator at the end. The final obstacle course with the Travelator.
The Travelator is the great equalizer. You can have a huge lead, but if your legs are dead, that treadmill ramp will humiliate you. It's brilliant TV.
It's the perfect climax.
But they didn't just play the hits, they added new events. And some of these honestly, they sound like video games come to life. Let's talk about the assault.
This one is fascinating because it flips the power dynamic. Usually, the gladiator has the weapon. In the assault, the contender is armed.
Describe it.
It's a shootout. The gladiator's perched up high, almost like a sniper in a tower, with a Nerf-style launcher shooting down at the contender.
Okay.
But the contender has a tennis ball cannon, and they are firing back at a target near the gladiator.
So the contender gets to shoot at the gladiator.
They get to shoot back. It's target practice under fire. It sounds incredibly satisfying for anyone who has ever wanted to take a shot at a giant in spandex.
Then there's whiplash.
This is a dog-bone tug of war. The contender and gladiator both grab a bone-shaped handle. The goal is to pull the other person out of a ring or off a platform.
That sounds like an injury waiting to happen. That is pure torque on your joints.
It's pure physics. It's leverage versus brute strength.
Yeah.
If the gladiator is stronger but the contender has a lower center of gravity and better technique, who wins?
I like that. It's not just about size.
Exactly. And Breakthrough and Conquer is another new one. It's a mix of football and wrestling.
How does that work?
The contender has a ball and has to get past a gladiator, like a running back against a linebacker. If they get past, they then have to wrestle a second gladiator out of a scoring zone.
So it's 2 different skills in one event.
Speed and then power.
Yeah.
And then there's Earthquake,
That one sounds amazing.
a wrestling match on a suspended circular platform that swings side to side.
So you're fighting the gladiator, but you're also fighting gravity.
And momentum. It requires incredible core stability, which, going back to the shape trends, is exactly what modern training focuses on. It rewards balance as much as power.
It seems like they really thought about how to modernize the action without losing the arcade feel of the original.
They did, but they also had to be careful. And we have to talk about the context regarding safety.
Right. The elephant in the room, the original show, had issues.
Issues is putting it mildly. It was a Wild West.
We saw the documentary wars of 2023. We had the ESPN 30 for 30 on the creator, and then the Netflix doc, Muscles and Mayhem.
Muscles and Mayhem was brutal. It exposed the reality of the 90s production. The rampant steroid use, the terrible pay, the fact that the gladiators had no health insurance.
And they were working injured.
They were working injured because if they took a day off, they got replaced and lost their paycheck. They were treated like disposable action figures.
It was a meat grinder.
It was. So Amazon, launching this in 2026, is operating in the shadow of those revelations. They have to be better. The liability alone is massive.
That explains the casting, too. You aren't hiring desperate actors who will do anything for a paycheck.
No.
You are hiring professional wrestlers and influencers who have agents, who have lawyers, and who have brands to protect.
Exactly. The Miz isn't going to let production get unsafe. Wardlow isn't going to risk his AEW career on a faulty harness. The professionalization of the talent forces the production to be safer and more ethical.
It also just lands at a weirdly perfect pop culture moment.
The sword and sandal revival.
We've got Ridley Scott's Gladiator to second in theaters. We've got that new series, Those About to Die. Suddenly, everyone is obsessed with the Roman arena aesthetic again.
It comes in waves. And I think there is something about the digital age where everything is online and abstract that makes us crave physical collision. We want to see people actually hitting each other. It's grounding.
It's primal. It cuts through the noise.
Exactly.
So bringing this all home, we've looked at the production, the politics, the business, and the bodies. What is the big takeaway here? What is this reboot actually telling us about entertainment right now?
I think it tells us that entertainment in 2026 is about synthesis. You can't just have a game show anymore. You need a universe.
A universe, yeah.
You need the IP mining of Hollywood bringing back the Gladiators brand because it has name recognition. You need the tribalism of wrestling WWE versus AEW to drive engagement and online arguments. And you need the creator economy, the influencers, to drive the monetization.
It's a Frankenstein monster of modern media trends.
But a very polished, very expensive Frankenstein monster. It's taking all the most successful elements of modern media and stitching them together.
It's 1989 reskinned with an Instagram filter and a wrestling storyline.
That is the perfect description.
But I want to leave the listener with a final thought to chew on. And it goes back to that gap we talked about earlier.
The gap between the gladiator and the contender.
Exactly. The original show worked because the gladiators felt like a different species. They were aliens. They were giants. And the contenders were us. They were math teachers with bad haircuts and high socks.
It was Superman versus Clark Kent.
Yes. But today, looking at the Shape Awards, looking at the tech, the math teacher has a tonal home gym. The accountant is taking magnesium L-threonate and tracking their macros. The librarian is doing CrossFit 5 days a week.
The baseline of fitness for an engaged person is so much higher.
And on the flip side, the gladiators are on TikTok showing us their acne cream routine and asking us to subscribe for $19.
The gap has shrunk from both ends. The contenders are more super, and the gladiators are more human.
So the question is the mystique gone? If the contender looks just as good in spandex as the gladiator, does the show still work? Or does it become something else entirely?
That is the big question. Does better athletic performance and more parity actually make for better TV? Or did we love the original because it was messy and uneven and a little bit unfair?
Did we love it because it was a spectacle of impossible, larger-than-life figures? And what happens when they're not impossible anymore?
Yeah, what happens when they're just your really, really fit neighbor?
I guess we'll find out. I'll be watching. Mostly to see if The Miz accidentally says AEW on a live mic.
I'll be watching for the tennis ball cannons. They never get old.
They really don't. Thanks for deep diving with us. Check out the show, look for the tension, and think about the business behind the bicep curls. We'll see you next time.